welcome back to Rose, Rocks, Weeds, and Soil. This is the Xennials podcast for trying to balance our lives through faith in this crazy, unbalanced world. All right, so last week we started our fitness series, Fitness and Faith, of course, with Jack Manson, celebrity trainer turned stylist, and now he's a whole clothing designer and everything. But this week we have fitness guru, Philadelphia's finest. To help wrap up our series with 2 tools for strength and clarity, and that's dry January and weight training. So this is David A. Miller. Welcome.
Hey, Zan. How are you?
I'm good. And so you guys have noticed he calls me Zan. Jack called me Zan. You'll hear like 100 different names throughout this podcast. Just go with it, okay? Just go with it. He is the owner, founder of Damn Good Bodies, Elite Fitness.
Elite personal training.
I was close. Elite personal training. I know it's elite because he's elite.
Thank you, Zan. Thank you.
So welcome. Tell us just 2 seconds about you. Tell us something.
Well, I've been a personal trainer, strength and conditioning coach for over 30 years here in Philadelphia, and for a short time in South Florida. I work with all types of folks, from athletes and celebs to business people to just folks who are just trying to look amazing like Xanda does right now. It's all about consistency. When Xanda and I worked together, she was very consistent week in and week out, and the results speak for themselves.
Yes. And so you guys heard him say 30 years, right? We're not going to ask this man how old he is.
It's cool. I just turned 59 this month.
Philadelphia's finest.
It's a crazy number to say these days. I say that and I'm like, damn, I'm really 59. Baby.
Well, you don't look it,
well,
okay? I mean, maybe a little bit with this little gray you got going on, you know. But if you died, my ex used to dye his.
Yeah. The ladies say they like it, so I rock with it.
Keep rocking with it. So we're going to talk about why dry January matters. And of course, I want to bring it back to faith. So in Proverbs, do you read the Bible?
I cannot say that I have in a while. Maybe I should. Maybe you can inspire
Listen, we going. This is the injection right here. So in Proverbs, chapter 20, verse 1, there's a specific verse talking about wine making a mockery of people and beer turning us into brawlers, right? Okay. Clearly, if you drink it, it leads you astray. You're a very unwise person. So it's really just the whole idea of practicing. I mean, because it doesn't say you can't drink.
Right.
And, people make that mistake and say, oh, you can't drink. No, that's not what the Bible says. You can't get drunk, which is a hard balance to, maintain. But it's practicing that mindfulness and moderation at all times. And so I feel like dry January is a great way to start. Now, you are like dry everywhere.
That is really not true. That's not true. So first and foremost, I'm a Penn Stater. And we're known as one of the top drinking schools in the country. It's one of the things Penn State's known for. So I definitely drank when I was in college. These days, I don't drink a lot, but I do drink. People are always shocked to find out that Mr. Trainer actually has a drink. I go times that I have a dry however long that I really don't drink anything. And then I'll have times, it's football season. It's Eagles in the playoffs.
E-A-G-L-E-S.
Eagles! Absolutely. So I really, quite honestly, I find for myself, I am a social drinker. I drink when I'm watching the game. Usually I'm watching the game with friends or maybe a lady friend, and we're watching the game, and I actually make great drinks. I'm kind of a mixologist. I have people come to my place and they see a whole bar and they are shocked. They cannot believe I have everything. So I can actually make great drinks, and I drink still in moderation usually, but usually for me it's socially. It's when I'm out with friends, when I'm out at a social event, and definitely when I'm watching the Eagles.
Okay.
You know how watching the Eagles are. It's a roller coaster ride. So
last night, okay,
a drink,
I don't want to date the episode, but
a drink or two can help you get through the game sometimes. So yeah.
Yeah, that Sunday was So at any rate, so when you talk about dry January, and since it's not dry everywhere for you, have you ever done it?
I do it really not even by design. I just go sometimes that, again, if it's just me, I probably would not just be home having a drink unless it's with someone. But dry January is an excellent idea because I think most people know that for a lot of people, January is that reset, hit the reset button time when, it's the new year, new me thing that everyone talks about.
That's what we say.
And it's not a bad idea. I don't, people make jokes about it, but if it helps you reset, I have no problem with people doing that. And reset button can mean, stopping the drinking for a while, can mean hitting your nutrition better, and it can mean getting your workouts in. If you can do all three of those things, obviously that's gonna lead to better health and better body, which is what most people are trying to do first thing of the year.
Yeah, and I mean similarly, I'm definitely not doing dry January now, but I don't drink as much as I used to.
Right.
But what I will say is the whole concept of, okay, I'm not going to drink this month because it's a social construct. I think for me, when I trained with you in the summer, I wasn't drinking. I didn't drink. I think I just woke up one day, I was like, okay, I'm not drinking for 90 days. And I do that probably twice a year. I'll just be like, okay, I'm not drinking. But I gets it in. We got history, okay? I gets it in. I mean, I turn into other people. That's a whole nother episode for another day. But it's I definitely, I drink. And so when we talk about dry January, I did not participate this month, but I do understand the importance of it. Are any of your clients right now doing dry January?
I think they are, and again, it's simply that New Year reset button that they know. Okay, I know I need to get my nutrition better. I know I need to drink less. I know I need to be more consistent with my workout. So I think those three things I think are all connected for a lot of people. And the alcohol thing, and again, I never try to sound like I'm coming down on people for drinking, because I do drink myself, but cutting alcohol is one of the best things to do for your body. I don't really even like to talk about a cleanse, but it is going to cleanse your body. Getting that alcohol, and I think a lot of people don't realize what alcohol is doing to your body, especially when you're overdoing it. Yeah. You're talking about calories first and foremost. Most people, when they're drinking, you get those calories that are not giving you any nutrition. You're getting empty calories. Most people, when they drink, that leads to you eating things that you probably would not be eating if you weren't drinking. You're just eating anything now.
See, that happens to me with edibles. Now, when I'm drinking, I'm mindful when I'm drinking. I drink only tequila, right? I drink my tequila. That's supposed to be the least amount of calories. And I don't mix. I mean, if I mix anything, it's literally club soda. I don't fool with anything.
That's a good way to do it.
Yeah, it's just on the rocks, club soda. I mean, sometimes my girl Jenna had me put a little lime in it, had me doing it that way. But for the most part, just,
that's the best way to do it. You could do it tequila, some seltzer or tonic and lime. That's perfect. You're not adding any that sugary stuff into it, which again adds to more calories.
Yeah, and it makes you more drunk.
It makes you more drunk. One thing that people don't realize with alcohol is that during that time that you're drinking, your body's ability to burn fat shuts off. And a lot of people do not realize that fat. Your body's fat burning system actually shuts off while you're drinking and for hours later after you're drinking. So, if you're someone who's trying to lose weight, trying to lose body fat, your alcohol consumption absolutely is going to affect that. So you going on that dry January and you not having that effect is going to help you with the goals that you've got.
Interesting. Now that's something. So we learned something today. Okay, you drink, you're not losing no fat. Not burning no fat when you drink it. So I do like to kind of tie back in. So the podcast is called Roads, Rocks, Weeds, and Soil. And people are like, well, what does that even mean? Where did you get that from, right? So I explain it a lot. It's basically from the Bible, right? So it's in, when it came to my head, it came in the book of Luke. But it's Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John have a lot of similar stories in it. So I think this parable of the sower is in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And basically it just talks about how, God is spraying the seeds, right? The word, and trying to get it to people. And so I want to just kind of relate that to dry January in a way where it's like, for me, it was a long road, y'all, for me to get to, I'm not going to drink. I mean, I started drinking. Daddy, I ain't telling on you. But I mean, I done had my first beer when I was yay high, So, and I remember getting drunk the first time on my senior trip. And we ain't gonna talk about that. So in high school, listen, it was not cool. but it was cool because we were high school. But that kind of led my life. I mean, and I really drank socially to party, to have fun and all that stuff. So it took a long time for me to get to a space where I was like, okay, no. So it's like that road where I was hearing you shouldn't drink, you should stop, but I didn't internalize the purpose. I was just like, no, why would I stop drinking, And then you have the rocks. Rocks is like when God is throwing the seed on the road and it's hitting the gravel. And it's like it's trying to get to the soil, but the rocks are in the way. And the rocks for me for dry January are, what's going to happen when I stop drinking? What we going to do instead of drinking, right? What do you do instead of drinking?
Well, I mean, I think, who knows? You might have better conversations. Crazy
I'm
talk,
sober
right?
now.
Exactly. I think people get so comfortable drinking, in social environments that they think that has to be part of the experience of you going out. And when you don't, there's times that I go out and I don't have a drink and I still had a good time. And you can absolutely do that. And that's the kind of thing I'm always constantly trying to get across to my clients. You don't have to drink when you go out. You can still go out and have a good time and, have a nice meal and not have a drink. You don't have to do it every time. And you just I think if you could do it for a week, turn that week into 2 weeks, turn that 2 weeks into a month. If you do it for a month and have that dry January, you would see, hey, that felt great. I did it for a month and didn't, the world didn't end. I didn't die.
That's true.
So it's just a matter of, it's just like everything else that you're trying to start in January, that hit that reset button. You see that they say if you can make something a habit, for a couple weeks,
21 days or something, right?
But before you know it, it's now a habit.
Yeah.
So it's just drinking is the same exact thing. If you can, do it for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then make it a month, you'll say, hey, that I actually felt great. That my body feels better. You might think that your mind is clearer, and that it's doing better. It's doing great things for your body. So it's a good thing.
And so I think everything you said I agree with, and then we have the weeds, right? The weeds are the distractions.
Mm-hmm.
Who, you hear me? Who? Weeds are normally people, y'all. Yes. Normally people are your weeds because, I'll tell y'all, I was in this relationship and it was a good one because we drank, we partied, we did everything together. And anybody that knows us from like the Sixers game, I mean, we drank pre-game, we drank during the game, we drank post-game. We would leave the game and go somewhere else and drink some more. So it was like we were drinkers. But yo, in a relationship, when you try to not drink, that partner is now a weed because he ain't your partner no more. She ain't your partner no more when, it's because it's difficult. It's like two different, if that's what they do and then you doing this, it's definitely going to put a little bit of a damper on things.
And partners, girlfriends, co-workers, for me as a trainer, those are the people that I have to deal with more than anything else with my clients. because those are the weeds for my clients. You know, when they're used to you being their going out buddy, their drinking buddy, their eating buddy.
100.
You know, when they're used to that, that's what they've been used to with you.
Yes.
And when suddenly you're not doing that, oh, one drink ain't gonna matter.
Yes.
You know, just come on, just this one. And so and you know, and you feel guilty because you know, just because you want to do it, you don't feel like you have to make your friend do it. And you have to realize that maybe you can still go out with them and you just don't have a drink. Like my friends know, you know, my friends know how I eat. You know, as an example, my friends know I eat a certain way. I don't eat a bunch of junk food. I don't eat a bunch of crappy food, but I can still hang out with my friends and still have a good time.
Yeah.
They eat what they eat. They drink what they drink. And I do, they know Dave does Dave. I do me. And we still have a great time. You know, we still do our joking and laughing and everything like that. We still have a great time. I just don't do what they do. And you can do the same thing when it comes to drinking.
How? Like, what do you suggest? Like, what are some tips when I'm at the bar and I'm not drinking and I'm going to have a Red Bull and Jen says, girl, you can just have a little bit of champagne. It's just sparkling. Like, you can just have, like.
You know what? After a couple times, they'll get used to you saying no.
Yeah.
You know, after that one time of them trying to talk you into it, the next time they'll try to talk you into it, and they'll say, you know what? She's serious. And you'll still have a good time. You'll still have great conversations. You'll still be able to laugh and joke and everything like that. Still have a great time with whatever you're doing. You're just not having a drink, and it's still going to be okay.
So he might not agree with this, but let me tell y'all what I do. I drink Red Bull.
So you're right. I'm not going to agree with that. Those energy drinks have, you know, I've got several clients in the medical field.
My cardiologist is probably like,
absolutely. I've got a heart surgeon client,
yes.
And you know, he tells me stories about people that come into the ER because of the Red Bull drinking and all those other energy drinks, and it's become a serious heart issue thing with those drinks. So I would definitely not make those my go-to if I'm trying to, you know, have a dry January.
Okay. Cut it with club soda.
So having a great tasting sparkling water right now, that works just fine.
But it's real though. I mean, because that was definitely a hard, like even when I was training with you, I mean, because we did 16 weeks, y'all. We went like June, July, August, and September. So we did like a full 16 weeks, and I did not drink. I don't think I drank until the night of the debate with Kamala and Trump. And I think we all needed to drink that night. It was like, her face was like, I was like, we all needed a drink that night. And so I drank then, but I will tell you that I honestly believe had I been drinking throughout my weight training experience with Damn Good Bodies, I would not have a damn good body right now. And that is real rap, because weight training, first off, when I drink, I'm done for like 2 days. So if I'm trying to get to the gym every other day, right? How you going to drink, you know, and cut up? So what do you think is the best way to get started with weight training once dry January is over, or as we're coming into, you know, February?
That depends on your level of experience as far as exercise. If you're someone who has already been doing some weight training and now you're getting a little more serious about it, then you can start off just graduating from what you have been doing to getting a little more serious with it, as far as doing, you know, more exercises, more exercises that require more weight. Someone that has not had really any experience, that's really a true beginner with weight training, would probably be best starting off with basic body weight things and maybe light weights to start with. You know, body weight squats, body weight lunges, body weight step-ups, push-ups. You know, there's different ways you can do push-ups to, again, depending on your strength level, depending on your you got much better at it. You know, depending on your experience level, using a TRX. A TRX is a suspension strap. A TRX is a great tool to use, whether you're a beginner or experienced, because it helps you do a lot of body weight things, but depending on the positioning that you're using it, you can change the intensity of it. So I definitely would recommend a TRX. Using weights, starting off with whatever strength level you're at with weight. So for example, if a certain weight, you can do more than 12 repetitions, that weight is probably a little too light for you. If you can't do 6 good repetitions, the weight is probably a little too heavy for you. So that's a good rule of thumb when you're
Say that one more time.
training. If the weight is a weight that you can do more than 12 repetitions, the weight is probably too light. You should be able to go to the next weight. If you cannot do 6 good repetitions with good form, the weight is too heavy for you. So you want to be somewhere in that repetition range, 6 to 12 repetitions. When you can do 12 reps with good form and good technique, and if you did 12 and you could have done 15, time to go to the next weight. And don't be afraid to lift real weight, especially the ladies. The ladies all think that if they use weights, they're going to get big and bulky and get muscles like a man. Totally incorrect. It's the exact opposite of that. And especially as we're getting older, folks, 35 plus, 40 plus, 50 plus, 60 plus, weight training should be one of the main things you're doing every week, at least twice a week. I would shoot for somewhere between 3 to 5 times a week, but at least twice. Everyone should be weight training. It's one thing when I was in my 20s and 30s, but now that I'm about to be 60, your body just reacts so differently and acts so differently, and weight training is one of the best things you can be doing to fight the aging process.
Listen,
everything that happens.
I'm hooked. I mean, Proverbs 27:17, iron sharpens iron. Okay, so what I want to suggest, if you cannot afford a trainer, get someone else who just knows something about weights. Like, don't just go in the gym talking about you doing something with some weights. Iron sharpens iron. Like, you need to make sure that there's someone there that can actually help you get started. Even in the gym, I mean, the people that work there, I mean, they don't, stand there just for nothing. Like, ask them for help. Someone there to all the guys at the gym want to spot me when I'm doing. So hold on. So I have to do my press, but he told me I have to arch my back, and so I'm doing this press on the bench. And this guy comes over the other day. He's like, "You need me to spot you?" I'm like, "Dude, I got 2 dumbbells in my hand. I don't need you to spot me."
Well, look at you, Zan. Of course they want to spot you.
But they will help in the gym. Is the point that I'm making. So make sure, you guys, if you cannot afford a trainer, I mean, I had to stop because he probably said no. I'm just saying, but you get what you pay for. But
so, like Zan says, so I personally believe everyone can afford a trainer, even if it's just for a session or 2. You think of all the other things you spend money on, all the other things you do during your week, during your month. That 1 or 2 times that you paid for a trainer will pay dividends. Because it's going to teach you what you need to be doing and like Zan says, what's most important is learning to do things with good form and good technique, so you don't hurt yourself. You want to get a good workout in, but you don't want to hurt yourself doing it, and then that's going to throw you off, so you can't work out because you've gotten hurt. So one way to do it, if finances are an issue, is having a buddy. Maybe you guys can share the session. I train couples, husband and wife, boyfriend and girlfriend. I train girlfriends. So, they're sharing the session so that, the cost isn't so much, and they both can get the workout in. But having a session or 2 even is going to help you immensely.
But you also have the boot camp also.
I have a boot camp. My boot camp is a group class.
Yeah.
And a group class it's all weight training based, but the price is much less expensive than one-on-one training because it's in a group fashion, and everyone is still doing weight training. Everyone is still working very hard, still getting a great workout, but you're just doing it with a whole lot of other people. So it's just a matter of finding something that works for you, that's convenient for you, but is going to challenge you to work as hard as you can work to get the most bang for the buck.
And so you said it's important for, 30, 40, 50, 60. Why is it important? Like, what do we really get out of it at this point? Because some people definitely feel like it's too late.
And I love that question because it's never too late. And so many people think that they think either they're too old or they're too out of shape. They've never done it and they think it's too late for them to do it. None of those things is true. It's never too late. The benefit, no matter when you start, is always going to happen. You have bone density issues. As you're getting older, if you're not weight training, your bones are not staying as strong, and it's one of the things with older folks is falling and breaking bones, breaking a leg, breaking a hip. There have been studies that have shown that older folks that fall and break a hip, a high percentage of them don't last a year after breaking that hip. They wind up dying because of other issues that happen once that hip breaks. So having, weight training is going to increase your bone density. Losing muscle mass is one of the most important things as far as you staying healthy for the rest of your life. Having more muscle, just being able to do basic things around the house, being able to carry groceries from the car to your kitchen. When you see little old ladies and little old men and they're hunched over like that, that is from lack of weight training. That's from lack of strength. If they had started weight training in their 40s and 50s, they wouldn't be hunched over like that. When you're at the gym and you see, those older folks that are there almost every day and they're weight training, they look great because they're weight training. They're making that a part of their regular routine. My first job out of Penn State was that I was the director of the main YMCA in Central Philadelphia, and there was this group of retired gentlemen who came in every single day, and they weight trained at least 3 times a week. And they weren't the typical older guy you would expect. They're not sitting in a rocking chair. These guys were spry and they're weight trained. They're playing racquetball. They're doing everything. But because they made exercise and weight training a main part of what they did, they weren't the little old guy hunched over and using a cane and all that stuff. And you don't have to be that. That doesn't have to be what you have to look forward to as being an older person. But you have to make weight training it really should be the main thing you're doing. I think for a lot of people, they've heard over the years that cardio activity is the most important thing, and cardio is very important. It's your heart strength and is a big part of fitness. But weight training, I would really argue, is the most important thing. Having your body strong, having your muscle mass, being able to do things with your body is the most important thing.
And so with that being said though, messing around with David, I don't do any cardio. Is that bad?
Quite honestly, full disclosure, I do very little cardio myself. I have a rowing machine at my place, my home, and I also have a rowing machine, a treadmill, and an assault bike at my gym. And I really do very little of it myself. Not because I don't want to, I just really don't get it in as much. I do way more weight training than I do cardio training. So it's not bad that you do. I would say if I would tell you to try to get a little bit of it in.
My cardio's like running late. I'm like, I gotta get there. That's my cardio. I gotta get there.
I hustle
start sweating.
Exactly.
That's it. I'm there.
I did it. So what I suggest for cardio is to do short bursts. So meaning interval training. Interval training is like sprinting. Okay. So when you're instead of jogging, where you're jogging for 30 minutes or 45 minutes, interval training is sprints. Sprints is just what it sounds like. You're running fast, but for short periods of time. So instead of jogging for 30 minutes, your sprinting would really only last about 15 to 20 minutes. So you get it done. Really, that's a great sprint. So you're running up the hill, walk back down, run up the hill, walk back down. You're doing that maybe 6 to 10 times, something like that. You can do intervals on a treadmill, on a track. So on a treadmill, you would punch your treadmill up as fast as you could possibly run. So
treadmills are dangerous though.
Yeah, you got to practice how you're doing it. You don't want to go viral and have one of those blooper reels where the person's flying off the back of the treadmill into a wall. You don't want to go viral like that. So practice how you do it. But how you do it on a treadmill is you start walking on it and you punch it up to a running speed, almost the fastest running speed you can go, and you're running for about 15 seconds. And when that 15 seconds is up, you punch it back down to a walking speed and you start walking for about a minute. So the sprint should last about 15 seconds. And then the recovery, which is your walk, is about 60 seconds. You're going back and forth like that. Somewhere probably about 6 to 10 times is how you're doing that. You can do the same thing on a rowing machine. So you're rowing for about 30 seconds as fast as you can, and then rowing at a moderate pace for about 60 seconds again. You're going back and forth like just same exact way. So a rowing machine, a treadmill,
the bike,
a Peloton bike.
Yes,
you can do all three of those. You can do intervals on that.
Okay. And so y'all, roads, rocks, weeds, soil. Roads for this weight training. He said it earlier, like you hear it and you're just like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, and start getting kind of rocky because you're like, I don't want to be looking like Angela Bassett. But no, Angela Bassett looks good at 60. Don't get me wrong. But at 40, I don't want to be like muscular like that. And so that was, when I started, I was like, so one of my biggest issues, y'all, I didn't want to eat. Y'all, I got skinny doing weight training because they would be like, you need your protein, you need to eat. He used to be like, what did you eat today? Can you please talk about the importance of protein? So I'm like, I'm drinking my protein water. That's my protein.
So, with weight training, that's one part of it. And the other part of it is your nutrition that you're eating as your weight training. And in order to see the benefits of your weight training, you need to be increasing your protein intake. Women especially are notorious for not taking in enough protein. Almost every one of my new female clients, when we sit down and talk before we get started, I find out that they're protein deficient, not getting enough protein in during their day. Ideally, now for many of you, this is gonna sound like a crazy number, but ideally, whatever your goal weight that you're trying to reach. So let's say your goal weight was 150 pounds. If that's your goal weight, you need to be trying to get about 150 grams of protein every day. And for most women especially, they're not even getting half of that number.
Because it just sounds insane. I mean,
and it's
Chobani yogurt is like 20 grams of protein.
Not even that. Probably about 15.
So, well, you get the one that has 20 grams on it. The protein one. And so I was doing the Chobani. I was doing the Chobani drink, which was 20. I was doing these little coffees. Slate coffees have this 20 grams of protein, and then protein water. But I was barely cracking 100 even still because you
weren't doing enough protein from food.
Exactly,
that's the key.
Stuff.
The other things are kind of just helping you reach that
supplemental,
number.
right?
But there's supplements. You want actually food. You want eggs are one of the best.
I eat egg whites though.
One of the best sources of protein. You want any kind of seafood, fish or shellfish. You want grass-fed beef or lamb. You want poultry, chicken or turkey. You want pork if you eat pork. If you are vegan or vegetarian, you can go to those types of sources such as tofu or any other kind of plant-based proteins. But you want to try to be getting at least 30 grams with each one of your meals. So breakfast, at least 30 grams of protein. Lunch, at least 30 grams of protein. Dinner, at least 30 grams of protein. And in addition to those three, having your supplements like a protein shake every single day. And it is challenging when you first start doing it because it's something so different than your normal routine. But once it becomes a habit and you really are working on doing it, you almost have to become kind of kind of obsessive about it at first, because you have to be thinking about it all the time. Did I get my protein with this meal? Did I get enough protein? For example, if I go to dinner or go to lunch at a restaurant, the first thing I'm doing when I look at the menu, I think of what's my protein source is going to be.
I would never think.
What am I going to have for protein? That's the first thing that I'm looking at. I'm trying to find fish. I'm trying to find poultry. I'm trying to find steak. I'm thinking I'm trying to find shrimp. I'm trying to find what I'm going to have. I'm looking at the menu. What looks good? It's going to be my protein, and then I build around that.
Okay, so what I will say, when I trained with David, I lost a lot of weight, y'all. But I mean, it was good at first, but then it just kind of kept going, and I did get nervous, right? And so since I have kind of been going on my own, I have beefed up with beef, right? I've been doing burgers. I've been doing salmon. I've literally been, and I see the difference. Now let me tell you, I don't want to be like thick. I'm not like the IG model type chick. I like slim thick. You know what I mean? I'm like, so I want to be a certain size. Like, so let me just say, when I started with David, I was like 156, y'all. And you can see the videos. It was like crazy. But I came all the way down to like 138. And then I got nervous. I was like, okay, no, that's scary, right? But now I'm at 143. That's where I want to be. I love it. I really, really love it. I mean, I see stuff that I've never seen before. I like it. I like it, but I am conscious of the protein in the house. What you just said though, when I go out to a restaurant, I don't think about any type of diet that I should be eating or not eating.
But that's so key. It's key that you're focused on what you have in the house. When you're doing your grocery shopping, you need to be prioritizing your protein, prioritizing what you're getting for your protein. So, you're going to the meat, either to the butcher or to the meat section, the poultry section. You're going to the seafood section. You're going to the dairy section to get all your good proteins that you're going to have in the house that you have handy. But the same thing if you're someone that does social things, you're going out to dinner, going out to lunch, going to brunch, you have to be thinking about what you're going to have for protein in those situations as well. Okay. Prioritizing protein is key to you achieving your fitness goals and your body goals when you're weight training. All the things that women especially want to see: toned legs, toned butt, flat stomach, toned shoulders and arms, sexy toned back.
It's this part right here. This is the clavicle and these shoulders. I like that right there.
All those things, the way you're going to see those things optimally is you including a good source of protein in your day, every single day. Prioritizing protein. That is
Before we get off of weight training, I have to, for my girls, we got to do some targeted areas, right?
Mm-hmm.
We got our big backs. What is the number one exercise that the big back girl? Okay, two top exercises that the big backs.
Well,
because I had a big back, so don't count me out. I had a little something.
First of all, big back, your nutrition. It starts with nutrition. Okay. First and foremost, starts with nutrition. No matter what you're trying to do, losing weight, losing fat, toning your body, your nutrition has to be where it starts. I could give you the best workout plan you've ever done, but if you're still eating, you're still having big back habits as far as the way you're
those
eating.
Weeds.
Then you're not going to see the results you should see. So cleaning up your diet first and foremost is the most important thing as far as you fixing your big back. Secondly, as far as you seeing the definition, the tone, the shape of your back, you need to be doing some type of rowing activities, either things like pull downs where you're grabbing the bar and pulling it to your chest, or assisted pull-ups that you're pulling yourself up and using your back, some type of row where you're grabbing a dumbbell and pulling towards yourself. Bent over row where you're in a bent over position and rowing. Anytime you're pulling the arms back or down to you, those exercises are working your back muscles. So that should definitely be a regular part of your routine every single workout.
Okay, and for the belly, and I just want to preface this by saying, I was like astonished, like I was totally all about crunches. When I tell you, I haven't done a crunch in a very long time. David introduced me to this exercise that was like clean, sweet, kettlebell overhead press. Is that what it's called? All I know, let me tell you, when you do this, I don't know what happens, but something happens in here, and that's my belly.
So one of the benefits of weight training, especially when you're using free weights, is that even if you're not targeting your core, your abdominal area, you're using that area with you're engaging your core. You're keeping your core muscles tight. So your core muscles, your abdominal muscles are working during those exercises, even when it's not targeting those exercises. So, and that's why, in my opinion, using free weights is a much better thing for you to do than machines. Machines have their place. There's nothing wrong with using machines sometimes, but doing free weights make you use more muscle, make you have to use your core to stabilize and balance yourself. So even when you're doing something like a squat or a deadlift, you have to brace your core, keep your core tight during that whole activity. And so because of that, your core muscles being tight. Using kettlebells. Kettlebells is one of the best tools for you to use because almost every exercise you do with a kettlebell forces you to use your core. So Zan was talking about an exercise we do called a clean and press, where you're bringing the weight up and then you're pressing it above your head. And on both parts of that movement, your core has to stay tight for you to stabilize and balance yourself as you're doing it. So as you're doing exercises like that over and over and over, week after week after week, your core muscles are getting stronger, even though you're not necessarily doing a quote unquote core exercise. Your core is getting stronger because you're using your whole body.
And it's crazy because, if you do that in front of the mirror every week, you're going to see the difference. And that is, if nothing, that's your motivation to just keep coming back and doing that exercise that you hated. Because I hated anything with the kettlebell because it's hard to learn. And again, that's one of those things where you have to make sure someone is there teaching you and showing you, because you hunch over one little inch too far, like it's a problem. You're going to hurt yourself. So you really do need to make sure that you have help in the gym when you're trying these exercises. Squats.
So
the booty.
Most of the ladies are always focused on the booty, and I have a very me being a guy's guy, I like a nice booty, and as a trainer,
David has a nice booty too.
because I do the same things that I have my clients do. So as a trainer, it's almost a thing with me where I can never let any of my clients have a bad butt. Even if they came to me with a bad butt, we gotta fix that. No bad butts. Zan has a great butt. And she walks in, and all the little old white men are checking Zan out as she's walking by. It's hilarious. I stand by. I'm walking like 20 feet behind her.
My gym, y'all, is nothing but a lot of older people. Like 70 and 80. So it's so funny when you go in there. But yeah.
They love Zan. So with developing your and everyone can get a better butt. Everyone can't get a IG model butt, but everyone can get a better butt if you work on it. It's just a matter of learning the proper way to train your butt. Doing some of the basic exercises that you need to incorporate into your routine are absolutely squats. There's different variations of doing a squat. Definitely deadlifts. There's different definitions or different variations of a deadlift. A Romanian deadlift is one of the best ones for you to do for your back of your legs and your butt. A Bulgarian split squat, another one of Zan's most hated exercises.
I don't even bring that name up. Like, that is, Google it, y'all. Google the Bulgarian split. Like, no, just.
But it's a very, very effective exercise. Anything with a Russian or Bulgarian.
It is what it is. Exactly.
Anything with that in the name is going to be a very hard exercise, but something that really does work. Okay. Doing a lunge and a step up.
I do like the lunges.
All those exercises are really targeting or really going to work your butt. One of the last ones that you need to do if you really want to develop your butt is called a hip thrust. Okay, you've probably seen people do it where you're having either a bar or weights resting on your thighs and you're lying on your back, or lying on your back on a bench and your butt's on the ground. You're raising your hips up, pausing for a second, and coming down slow. That's really targeting your butt muscles and really going to help you develop.
They have a
your
machine for that
There-
now
there
at
are-
Planet
there-
Fitness.
there
Well, they
are-
didn't have it before. They have it now
There
at my
are some
gym,
great
and
machines that do basically the same
I do
thing.
like that machine.
But
Doing it
never let
manually was
anyone
not fun.
tell you, no matter what you were born with, everyone can get a better butt. Some people are blessed with a little more than other people, but everyone can improve what they were born with.
Improve. So combining the two, because those are really great tips, right? So combining the two, the dry January and the weight training, right? How difficult do you think it's actually going to be in terms of consistency with just your clients and overall? So not even, because January is practically over, right?
Mm-hmm.
But just the cutting out the liquor. I mean, like, and bringing up the weights. I mean, like, is it that difficult to get those two together at the same time?
So, and again, this is the best time of year to try to do this, because I think for most people, it's this whole thing, even though this is all physical activity that you're doing with weights and being in the gym, the mental aspect of it is crucial. So if mentally, if in your mind you're really trying to achieve this goal, and you're setting goals for yourself, you're setting things for yourself to do every week. So this week I'm gonna not drink this week, and I'm gonna get to the gym 3 times. Okay, and you make that your goal. And maybe after a month, maybe that 3 times turns into 4 or 5 times. But it's a matter of getting started, writing some small goals down, and as time goes on, maybe you can increase those goals a little bit. The problem with so many people sometimes, and the reason why people fall off, is that they bite off a little more than they can chew. So don't overdo it with how much you're going to do, and say, okay, I'm not going to drink for the whole year, and I'm going to get to the gym I'm going to get to the gym 7 times a week. And so you're setting yourself up for failure. I would rather see you start small and gradually work up to doing a little more and a little more. Same thing with weight training. With weight training, instead of just going crazy, your first week, and then you can barely move. Yeah. Start slow. Start with some weight that you can, just your body weight or light weights, and gradually work your way up. Weight training really is called progressive overload. You're trying to progressively do a little more and a little more and a little more. A lot of times when I was training Xen, I wouldn't even tell her that we were doing a heavier weight.
But I could tell.
Than we did the previous week, because I wanted to complain about it, really, but I wanted just to do it without thinking about it. And so that's the same way it works with when you're working out on your own. You're trying to gradually go up a little bit as time goes on, and not just stay at that same exact weight forever.
No, it's definitely the progressive game. And I will say, like Proverbs 4:23, guard your heart, right? Mm-hmm. Guard your heart, because everything good is going to flow from it. So you were saying, in order to get in there and do it, it's mental, but it has to be in your heart also. Like, is this what you really want to do? It can't just be, we were talking about, Jack and I were talking about fasting last week, and we were talking about how, all the churches get together and do this group thing. And, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. We did come to that conclusion. It's not consensus. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's the same thing, like the whole group, we're going to work out together. I mean, that's great for the accountability, but it has to be in your heart.
No question.
I'm going to stop drinking. I'm going to start doing weights. I mean, and when I tell you, once I got that in my heart, it really, and this guy was hard. I mean, I was crying. Now, I told you I was going through a breakup, so he didn't know why I was crying. Half the time I was crying. But what did you think? You was probably like, this is emotional?
Zan, you're being so dramatic, Zan.
He thought I was just being dramatic.
It ain't that
I was
serious.
Crying, y'all. But it was a mix of that and this. But, it was a lot. It was a lot. He was yelling. Call him, y'all, because he's good, but He gonna get you. He got me all the way together, mentally and emotionally. And like I said, you didn't know everything I was going through, Dave, but man, he is one of the serious reasons that I ain't go crazy, because I could have killed somebody up in this house. I'm just trying to tell y'all that, but I didn't. Thanks, Dave.
Glad I kept you out of jail.
Exactly. So I do appreciate you for joining me.
Thanks for having me. This was awesome.
I know, right? So last week, I asked, and I didn't plan to do this, but I asked Jack to just leave us with one word to kind of sum up, resilience and consistency. And one of the things that he said was integrity. So I'm gonna give you the same offer. I want to know if you can give me one word to just sum up this clarity and the strength. Like what is it that we can do to kind of grow our clarity and our strength? One word.
Let's see. Consistency is a great word, because nothing can happen with a dry January or further than January. And the weight training, none of that is you're not going to see the benefits until you're consistent. So it has to be about consistency. People always ask me, how do I stay motivated? And motivation is great, but motivation isn't lasting. You're not going to stay motivated for a long period of time. You have to find some dedication. So you have to be dedicated to both your drive period that you're going to do, whether it's January or longer than January, and you have to be dedicated to doing weight training. And unless you're dedicated, you're not going to.
I like that dedication. I mean, because that's pretty much what we were saying in terms of just the heart. Like, it has to be from you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, David.
Thank you, Zan. This was great.
It was. So, y'all, I want you all to follow him on Instagram. It's Damn Good Bodies.
Damn Good Bodies. Damn is my initials, DAM. Good Bodies, and you can find me there. You can DM me. If you follow me, I'll try to follow you back. But that's the best way to find me.
Yes, and also you can catch us at RRWS Podcast on IG and on YouTube as well, of course. I just wanted to just leave us off on the fact that, dry January and weight training, they create not just clarity, but it's really like space for growth, physically, mentally, and spiritually. And so I just want to say thank you guys for hanging out with us again, and make sure you check us out next week. We're going to get into a series about love and relationships and toxicity and breakups and all that stuff. So I'll let you know who our guests will be, but definitely check us out and check out some of the challenges that we have on the Instagram, as we say.
The Instagram.
Thank you, David.
Thanks,
Love
Zan.
you all. Mean it. Have a great week. Bye.